Hello and welcome to another episode of Ask the Surveyor. I'm your host Lee from Ashton Surveyors, and today we're talking all things windows and doors with a local trusted expert, Mike Kent from Essex Window Service. If you ever wondered about misted double glazing, drafty seals, or whether they repair or replace that old UPVC unit, this is the one for you. Mike, thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here, Lee. Thanks for inviting me.
Mike does service repairs, in which Ashton Lee recommends Mike for all customer repairs to windows, and misted glazing is one of the most common.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about your background, Mike. Is it that you grew up in Walthamstow?
Yeah, grew up in Walthamstow, moved out, economic reasons really. We could afford a house in Witham, where we currently live. Or,
is that after you got married? Or?
Yeah, after we got married. Or we a very small flat in Walthamstow, so we decided to make the move. And yeah, loving it.
Witham's a nice area.
Yeah.
Have you lived there, how many years have you lived in Witham?
Since 84.
Oh wow, same place?
No, we've moved. We bought a different place in 2000. Yeah.
Happily in Witham?
Yeah.
How did you, have you always done window? Did you, when you left school, was you a window fitter or?
Yeah, done my apprenticeship with my brother actually, and from an apprentice window fitter, if you like, to, going out on my own. Right up until about 98, when I got a real job. I got a company car, a briefcase, and a suit, and basically I was a sales rep. Didn't know what I was doing. Made up as I went along.
Yeah.
But it's very successful. We grew a company from 0 to £6 million turnover, which I'm very proud of. Working in the same industry, windows and doors, but selling business to business.
Yeah.
Had various jobs since then, and I got flattering. I got headhunted in 2019, and I decided to make a move late 2019 in October. But unfortunately, 6 months later, the world went mad, and my diary.
Was that 2003? Was it, or 2007?
2020. The world went mad with COVID.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. That. Yeah. I was thinking of the recession.
No, not recession. And my diary emptied of, forward planned meetings. My diary just literally emptied. And everyone kept saying, I'm doing this self-isolating thing. What is this thing? So I went to my...
Yeah, we all know now, don't we?
Yeah, I went to my then boss and...
So after that, you started your own company?
Yeah, what do I do? And so back on the tools, and small steps, but it built up to what it is now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Yeah.
Because you're successful in sales, because you are an honest, nice guy, and that does sell.
Thank you.
So when you first started in the window industry, what era of windows was we in? Was we UPVC then, or was it brittle windows?
No, it was the transition from hardwood frames with aluminium windows to white gold, which is UPVC. We're talking the late 80s. I went through that transition, which was interesting times. And if you've ever seen the programme White Gold, it's all true. The salesmen were absolutely brutal.
There was an Essex programme.
White Gold.
Oh, was it called that? And it was all Essex. It was all Essex salesmen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's from Garrett's neck of the woods. Down, it was based in Stamford-le-Hope.
Right, yeah. That's where I grew up, Stamford-le-Hope. But we'll move on.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be. It used to be a lovely place.
Yeah, it's not exaggerated, the tricks and the stories that White Gold makes up of their salesmen. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It was pretty typical of the time. Yeah.
What's your main area of work? Is it fitting new windows or maintaining or repairs?
It's a lovely mix, Lee. If I had to replace Lorraine's for the rest of my life, and I'll explain Lorraine's. Lorraine's are misted sealed units where they've got condensation between them, to nice clear ones. And the reason I call them Lorraine's is because every time I change the Lorraine or a misted sealed unit, the customer would go, "Oh look, I can see clearly now," and that gave me an earworm for the rest of the day. So rather than I embraced it as a positive thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see clearly. No, I won't sing it. I won't embarrass you with it. I can see clearly now Lorraine has gone, so I embraced that. And I've got some cheesy posts on Facebook that embrace that.
That's your sales pitch.
Yeah. But getting back to your question, if I had to change misted sealed units or Lorraine's for the rest of my life, I think I'd be bored to tears. I've got a lovely range, a lovely mix of work, be it repairs or replacements. And moreover, the customers are great as well. I'm really fortunate with my customers.
Yeah, we changed mine at the back of my house. Very good job.
Yeah, thank you.
I had some on the front which I ended up changing the windows, and I got window cleaner. But a couple of my friends drove past and said, "Lee, you really need to clean your windows. You know, it's embarrassing they're all misted up." I do clean them, but we changed the windows and that was good. What makes a good window installation?
Oh,
I mean, we open up a can of worms there, aren't we?
Yeah. The window fitting properly, the size of, for the size of the aperture, and doing all the steps that we are obliged to do from my certifying body, i.e. bedding the seal. The seal is the first thing that goes in. Bedding the seal on something that insulates it against the brickwork. Bedding the window on top of the seal with something. I use silicone, which is the norm, and making sure the window is sealed and straight and square and fixed in properly. And it sounds silly, but if a door or a window is not packed, it's not glazed properly, it's called toe and heeling. It's packing in the corners so that it stays square. I'll go back to so many builders' fits where the door's dropped and it's dragging on the threshold, and I say, "Have you packed it?" Yeah, put a packer there and two packers at the bottom. No, you haven't packed the corners then. Okay, I can sort that out for you. Yeah.
The biggest important thing is the start of is the measuring. I see when builders measure the windows, they come in and they've got big gaps and they're putting big trims around the window, and it just spoils the whole look of the window.
Yeah.
Where you will allow little bits off, and from experience what.
Yeah, we're told to take off 10 mil off the width and the height. And I'm not a fan of, after the window is in, just leaving a silicone line visible. I tend to seal the window up and then put a nice white trim over the silicone line. It's what I do for selfish reasons. You know that silicone doesn't stay white. It doesn't stay toothpaste white like the window does. So, yeah, I don't spend a lot of time making the silicone seal neat. I make it effective and then put a trim over it. So that
decorative trim. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the big wide trims to to get over their mistakes.
No.
Yeah. When should a homer call you? Only when something's wrong. I think this leads itself to when I'm checking windows on surveys. They're stiff. Some of them are stiff, and they stick around the frames, and they're drafty. So I think we always recommend that they're serviced to stop the hinge breaking and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't do it
because otherwise it leads to bigger problems, don't it?
Yeah, I don't do a lot of preventative work. If I have to go and change a pair of hinges on a window, for instance, I advise the customers to not have to pay my extortionate fees. I was joking about extortionate. To do it again. If they clean the inside of the windows between the frame and where the window's shut, just give it a wipe out. It doesn't have to be polished clean, but get all the most of the rubbish and debris out, and spray it with something friendly. Spray the moving parts with something friendly. I recommend silicone spray. I don't tend to use. People say, "Oh, WD-40." I don't recommend WD-40. It's greasy and it drips
and all the dust sticks to it.
Yeah.
So
silicone spray is quite good. It's not wet. Spray on the moving parts, the hinges or the friction stays, as they're properly called, and the moving parts like the locks. And it saves. That as a preventative measure for the customers. I don't do that. I'll just advise my customers to do that. Once every 6 months, they can do their whole house in about 15 minutes. And
what's the most common faults you see on existing windows?
It is the misted sealed units or Lorraine's. Second being the hinges, the friction stays. I've got a set behind Garrett. If
we'll have a look. That's all right, Garrett.
That's them.
The prop man.
Thank you. Yeah, these are the hinges or the friction stays on the windows. You see that this is a new pair, obviously, and they go nice and snugly into the. And that pulls the window in, does it? Is that
that pulls
the window in
to be tight on the seals.
Yeah, these wear out. They go through a lot of wear and tear, and the gaps are usually on the hinge side, and yeah, these can be replaced quite easily. I must have 60 or 70 pairs of these in the van, all different types.
And where would you apply the oil? Is it in the groove? Or?
Yeah, where there, and in this track here, where it slides.
And that's where you should wipe clean before you spray. Yeah. Make sure there's no rubbish in there. No. Try and get most of it out. Use a paintbrush or a cloth. And I change a lot of them. Probably about a dozen pairs of them a week on average. So this may sound obvious, but what is the telltale sign of double glazing unit failing?
It's condensation or dirt in between, where if you clean both sides of the glass and it's still dirty, that unit is broken down. Not only is it unsightly, but it's lost its thermal efficiency as well. So, which is not too bad in the summer.
No.
But in the winter,
I've put in a report certain windows that are broken down, and the customers moved in and they're not there. So different weathers.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah.
So
some are self-evident. Only last week, I went to a house where I measured, a dozen sealed units for replacement, and I think only half of them were self-evident. We had to go around and hopefully change the right ones. Yeah. Yeah, some do come and, the evidence does come and go with the.
So I say to customers, if they do ever see that, when one day they're misty, next day they're not, is put a sticker on them once, and wait for wait a year till you get through the winter and the summer, and then you can bring you in and show the glazing units what I've done.
Yeah, I'd just tell them to put a little mark in
to get you round twice, and it would be once. So
yeah,
the sticking method is recommended.
Yeah, good idea.
What signs of poor installation that buyers should be aware of? So if they're not using you, how can they tell if they're a poor
gaps around the windows, and the most common thing of a bad installation is doors not working, where the door's dropped and it's dragging on a threshold, where you shut the door and you struggle to lift the handle up to engage the multi-point locks. That's a very common thing. Usually it's easily remedied.
Adjustments.
80% of the time it can be
Hinges
adjusted.
can be adjusted, locks can be adjusted.
Yeah, and the glazing can be adjusted so it packs it so it's nice and square.
So what questions can I ask you, or ask other salesmen to ensure that they are a reputable firm?
It's all about reputation. I mean, I can sit here and say I'm the best window fitter in the world. I'm not. But what you'll get off of me is honesty, and you'll get a good job.
I think you're honest there. But you're very good, I can tell. What you've done for me.
Facebook is a good place.
I think they've got to be sure that they are with a federation of some sort. Fencer.
Fencer is the common one. Fencer is I liken Fencer to the Hoover. These vacuum cleaners. Hoover is always associated with vacuum cleaners. Fencer is associated with certification of windows and doors. I use the equivalent of Dyson. I use a body called Assure. They are very good. They are very honest, and the relationship I have with their representatives is not remote. It's a pick up the phone and I can talk to a human being straight away. It's not a switchboard and going through,
which is unheard of in a lot of organisations these days.
But they're very strict, and I have to pay them X amount of money per year, and I have to pay them X amount of money per certification as well for each installation. And for that, the customer gets an insurance back guarantee and the necessary certificate for the conveyancing solicitors. Hand that to likes of Michelle Baker, who's a very good conveyancing solicitor, and that ticks that box. Oh, was she?
Yeah. She gave very good advice. So what point do we know, or a customer should know, when we should replace a window or when it can be repaired?
That's another good question. I've got a customer that I've been to 3 or 4 times in Colchester. Their windows, believe it or not, their UPVC windows are absolutely first generation. And there's nothing wrong with them. We're talking 45 years old. They do maintain them, they do clean the insides of the frames and everything else. There's nothing wrong with them. I've changed a few sealed units, and that's all I've changed around now.
So any removable parts that can be replaced, like your sealed units, hinges, handles, but if it's actual frames...
Yeah, there's nothing that goes wrong with the frames. That's why the 10-year guarantee for double glazing gets thrown around like confetti. Now you have to be careful with that. When you dig down to what the 10-year guarantee, what is guaranteed for 10 years, it's usually the frame, and the frame only. The moving parts are guaranteed for between 12 months and 5 years. And the sealed units, again, parts that readily fail, are usually guaranteed for 5 years. And if anyone says, everything is guaranteed for 10 years, you would question that. Because by law, we're not allowed to falsely inflate the warranties from our manufacturers.
Yeah.
So I don't manufacture. I buy from a reputable a company that's been making UPVC windows and doors since 1989, and they've never phoenixed, they've never gone skint. Their company has been going since 1989. Their guarantee states that the sealed units are guaranteed for 5 years. The hardware, i.e. the moving parts, locks, hinges, etc., are guaranteed for 5 years. Frames are guaranteed for 10 years. So beware anyone that just says, the guarantee for 10 years. drill down into that.
Are there any DIY fixes that tend to cause more harm than good? I mean, the minor one would be the oil we just said, WD-40.
That's fine. That's always, you know, a good thing. Even using WD-40 has got to be better than using nothing. But the only one I can think of is people that adjust the doors. They wind the hinges up so much, and it hasn't worked.
So DIY attempts at adjusting doors and windows usually ends up in...
Yeah, it doesn't usually work.
Yeah.
Because there's usually a different problem.
I've actually tried it on a door, and I didn't resolve it.
No.
I ended up being able to lock it, and then calling someone like yourself to come and repair it, which they'd done in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was quite relatively low cost.
Yeah.
So I learnt my lesson there. I think we've already touched on this, but what's the most cost-effective solution for the average homeowner? I think you answered that by replacing movable parts and not replacing the whole window.
Absolutely. A case in point. Let's think of one that she works from home as a hairdresser in Morden. She said, I need a new window. My daughter's bedroom window is very drafty. So let's go and have a look. And it was a case of replacing a pair of hinges like that. Circa £70 plus VAT, as opposed to that window would have cost 10 times the amount of that, probably £700 to replace that. She was absolutely over the moon. And she said, give me lots of your cards because I've got lots of clients because I'm a hairdresser. And I've had a few.
Oh, have you?
Had a few, yeah.
Oh,
so it was lovely.
It's just getting the message around that people leave these faults because they think they have to replace the whole window.
No.
When, you can relatively small cost can get the things sorted.
Yeah.
How often are you calling after a building survey raising concerns?
What, from the likes of yourself?
Yeah.
Very few times, I've got to be honest. Yeah.
So the message there is that we're not getting the message out that surveyors should be saying. They condition rate and maybe 2 or 3 because even surveyors may think that they need to replace the whole window. So I think it's good. Like the advice we give is that removable parts, and also we recommend yourselves that they don't need to spend lots of money, and the defects are not always as serious as they look, and you can get things done at a reasonable price.
Absolutely, Lee. One of my favourite sayings when I see a customer and they need a repair is, there's no need to go nuclear and replace the whole window. No, that part can be replaced. That part can be replaced. Probably 10% of the time, a door is beyond repair, and likewise for windows, it's so far gone. No, I take that back. Probably 20% of the time, a door is beyond repair, whereas a window is a lot less that you need to go nuclear.
Yeah, I see doors that offer more worse condition than windows. It's simply more traffic.
Yes.
The guy I done a survey for last week, his door is livable, it's fine, but you'll see it because I've recommended you to go and see. But it's split and it's flimsy. Okay, it still works, but it's security-wise, I don't think it's good.
No.
Do you find that survey reports accurately reflect the issues? I'm not sure you can answer this because you probably don't see the reports, but I see varied reports, and the advice is poor. Replace windows. When we've already covered it, that removable parts can be replaced, and it's a bit of education with the surveyors.
If I can interject there, is that lazy surveying report writing
Yes, most of it.
Yeah, as opposed to, you know,
there is a difference between level 2s and level 3s, but there shouldn't be much difference in the advice, but it is widely perceived that they should be, and
no need.
Yeah, it's poor service to the buyer.
Yeah.
Hence why we're doing these podcasts, trying to educate.
Yeah.
Can neglected doors, windows lead to bigger issues such as damp?
Absolutely. Yeah. Case in point, yesterday, there's a customer is complaining about mould and damp. And now, a lot of that is lack of ventilation, which is probably for another podcast. That's a whole nother podcast. Ventilation is what I tell my customers, and changing the windows won't necessarily solve them issues, because if they're not ventilating on a regular basis, twice a day I'm talking about, then they're still going to have the same problem. It will reduce it because new windows are a lot more efficient, they're A-rated, and etc., but it won't eliminate the underlying cause. And I refuse to take people's money because they expect new windows to solve that problem of mould, which is caused by condensation, which is caused by lack of ventilation. There was an exception to that rule yesterday. It was a relatively new build house, and they had a mould issue coming in around the windows, which was caused by the silicon had shrunk back so far. We touched on it earlier, where the window was too small for the aperture. The silicon gap around it was around 20 mil thick.
Wow,
the silicon had shrunk, and there was gaps around it. And I've made a point to go back there, and I can't do nothing about the gaps, the underlying gaps. What I can do is reseal them, and I'll put the aforementioned trim over them to cover it up. It is,
and that's where it starts, from the measuring at the start. That's where the problem starts.
Unfortunately, with new build, it is a common theme where the windows are so small for the apertures. I don't personally like it. They probably have their own reasons. And the silicon, or the mastic man has to go around, and they have to put very big silicon lines, and I'm talking 20 mil around the windows.
There could be many problems. Why? I mean, it would probably ordering and lead times of windows, so they rely on the bricklayers to get the purchase right and order the windows 6 months in advance, and all them with measurements from the drawings.
Yeah, it might be.
And and it's not achieved on site. But I mean, there's many reasons why. Yeah. Talking about when you say ventilation, you should be a surveyor, because all good surveyors talk about the importance of ventilation. And I know trickle vents is probably not window fitters or window manufacturers' favourite item on the window, but it is quite important. Not. And they are a preventer, but they're not. Prevention's better than cure, so they are a little bit of cure, but they are a little bit of prevention. Obviously, they don't prevent the humidity going into the air, but they do help manage it a little bit.
If they're open.
If they're open, yeah. And many people don't because of the drafts.
Yes.
And people don't like drafts, but drafts is ventilation. And if people, homeowners, realise that ventilation drafts is good for the home, you may see a few more open. Definitely with condensation on windows. But the main thing is controlling humidity. Once you get that down, like extraction, having trickle vents open, putting pans on lids, simple little not dry and close on radiators.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are the cause of condensation. We button our homes up now. They're so well insulated. with double glazing, with the insulation that's in the walls, etc., etc. But if we seal our windows up so much, and you've got a family of 4 in a relatively small house, over 2 days, that air is not getting recycled, and we breathe out moisture, and that causes condensation. So yeah, I repeat my mantra: ventilation, ventilation, ventilation. Open the windows for 10 minutes in the morning and in the afternoon. Get that air changed, because otherwise we're breathing in our own stale air all the time. And yeah,
I see a lot of issues when customers move from a cavity wall property where the walls are warmer, and they move into a solid wall, older house, and then they live with the same habits, where a modern home cavity is more forgiving because they're warmer and you don't get the condensation falling on the walls. We had a case recently, and she bought these habits, drying clothes on the radiators, having got a tumble dryer which vented out, not putting lids on pans when cooking, bathing and showering without opening the window or using extraction, and behind every bit of furniture there's black mould, and you know, she wondered why I didn't raise this in the report. But you know, older properties need to be managed with ventilation, because when they were originally built, they had natural ventilations, like they had wooden windows, crittle windows, which were naturally drafty, and now they're super tight if they haven't got trickle vents. Carpets, vinyls that seal the floors, you know, natural ventilation used to come through the floors. Chimneys, they used to come through the chimneys, and they're all blocked up now, all removed. And bricks. even felts on roofs, you know, you never used to have felts in roofs pre-1930s. So we're just making them more and more airtight. So yeah, ventilation.
Yeah.
How do modern products improve thermal performance or energy bills?
Yes, I can give you some anecdotal evidence. I'd done a job local to me probably 2 years ago, over December, and a customer said, I want all new windows. Now, he had white UPVC windows in there, and he wanted white UPVC windows put back, all exactly the same design of openers and everything else. And I said to him, Peter, are you sure you want new windows? He said, yeah, that some of the handles are broken, some of the hinges are some of the windows are drafty where the hinges are worn. I said, they can all be changed, Peter. He said, nope, I want new windows. I said, absolutely fine. Okay, so anyway, done the job. When there was snow on the ground, not the most pleasant of working conditions, but we got it done.
Even in Essex we get snow. Right?
Yes. 2 weeks later, I saw his wife while I was walking the dog, actually, and she was coming towards me, and I said, hi, Karen, dare I ask how the windows are? And she said, they are so much better, Mike. We turned the thermostat down a few degrees now. The windows are so much warmer. And this was a very cold winter. And I breathed a sigh of relief, I've got to be honest. The windows, yes, it does show that, although it goes against what I said earlier, you don't need to go nuclear unless you actually want to change the windows for aesthetic reasons, or you totally insist. If it's just a repair that's needed, then it's just the repair that's needed. But there are benefits to having complete new windows. That's a case in point. Given, you know, from the horse's mouth, if you like, from first-hand experience from a customer that had windows changed like for like, but with modern A-rated windows. And yeah, I was really pleased with that.
Yeah. I mean, if you got the money and it's important on your list, yeah, don't have to just repair them, replacing, and it gives new windows do give the property aesthetics really good. I mean, my house looks amazing since I changed the windows, where they were white and you only had top openers. They were very early UPVC styles, and it made the house look ugly. It can really improve the appearance. What regulations should buyers and owners be aware of? Building regs when purchasing windows. If they go into other companies, what questions should they ask? Are they A-rated?
Yeah, to be fair, most windows are A-rated now, as standard.
Fire regs, where's that come from? Is that every bedroom now, is it?
Yeah, every habitable room should have a set of fire escape hinges. These ones are not. These open conventionally, whereas a fire escape hinge will open more or less 90 degrees, more like a door that's hinged here.
To assist the escape out the window?
Yeah, God forbid, should you need it open to allow for egress. Any window company, most are A-rated now anyway, and I would be disappointed if they didn't put egress or fire escape hinges on habitable rooms. It's not a cost addition or anything like that.
It used to be one room on the upper floors, but it's all habitable rooms now.
All habitable rooms now, yeah. And make sure they belong to a certifying body like Assure or Certas or Fencer.
Is there a difference on materials such as UPVC, timber and aluminium, how long they last? Would you say aluminium's longer or timber? The timber, if I would say if they need to be maintained.
Yeah, modern timber windows nowadays, they're pretty good, but they're never going to last as long as UPVC or aluminium, just because of the nature of the material. Timber windows, my timber supplier will guarantee the finish on the windows, because they're painted in the factory. They'll guarantee the finish on the windows for 8 years.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
Which I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
You had a modern methods and everything else.
Temperatures getting further and further apart.
Yeah, but they're still never going to last as long as UPVC or aluminium.
So, if money wasn't an option, what would you change your house? What windows?
Oh, that's a really, really good question.
I love the look of wooden windows give. Not so much aluminium. I think that little craze of grey aluminium's gone or going.
Yeah.
Some of the modern UPVC look like wood now, don't they?
Yes.
And a flush fitting,
yes.
Which used to be only wood that could do that.
Yeah. You took the words right out of my mouth. If money was no object. Strangely enough, the dearest option out of the three is timber.
Yeah.
The next is aluminium, and right down. The most cost-effective one is UPVC, and I'll explain the most cost-effective one. Not only in the initial cost, but the thermal benefits of UPVC over aluminium. No matter how hard aluminium tries, it's easy for a UPVC window to achieve a better thermal rating.
Because of the thermal bridging, is it?
Yeah, and the chambers inside the windows, it's a box section, and the chambers you can put in that frame add to the thermal efficiency. So in answer, I would have windows like I think you've got, which is the flush fitting UPVC.
So I made a good choice.
I think so. I might add that I didn't have anything to do with Lee's windows, so I'm not self-promoting it here. He had them done before we met.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. We've known each other now for a while, haven't we? And we recommend each other. That's because they have honesty, I think. What regular upkeep would you recommend to prolong life? Is there different upkeeps for different windows? I would say no, because all the hinges are the same sort of principle, locks and handles.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Lee. What we mentioned before is keep your windows clean. Keep the bit between where your windows open and the frame. Keep that relatively clean. You don't have to polish it to an inch of its life. Just keep all the debris out and lubricate the moving parts once every 6 months. It should take you about 15 minutes to do the whole house, and it's a good preventative.
The windows that I see that are stiff to open and got broken handles because they're difficult to open, they're all dirty. That is a common theme. I mean, I've seen windows that are 15 years old and look a couple of years old where they're regularly cleaned inside and out, and the plastic hasn't discoloured. It's when it's not cleaned it discolours the plastic. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, you get that ingrained roughness to the outside if you don't regularly clean the UPVC windows, especially on the outside.
Is there any advice that you would recommend potential buyers when they're visiting a house?
What, for windows?
Just open up a couple.
Yeah, just open up a couple, see how they work. It can tell. You can tell a lot by how clean the windows are, as is how clean the rest of the house is. If you're going to buy a house, how it's been maintained.
Yeah, I think this question lends itself really to old listed buildings and conservation areas where they've got sash windows. And I see a lot of windows sealed shut because of the maintenance and the repair costs of timber windows is a lot extortionate. Well, not extortionate, but very, very expensive. And they can't maintain them, so they'd rather just see them shut and not use them. That's something you don't do, is it, timber?
I do timber windows, yes, but I don't repair timber windows.
Right.
That's more for a carpenter or joiner or a restoration.
And the balancing of the weights and sash.
Yeah, although I did a sash cord repair a couple of months ago. Yeah, it's not a standard repair.
It's not something you offer.
No.
Are there any standout horror stories or close calls you ever came across?
Yeah, quite a few. Where windows are not fitted, not bolted to brickwork or the surrounding aperture. They're simply foamed in and relying on silicone. It's horrific. I've got to be honest. It's dangerous. It's downright dangerous, and it is more common than you'd imagine, unfortunately.
So what we mean by mechanical fix is a screw into the brickwork through the frame?
Absolutely, yeah, drill through the frame into the brickwork. I use concrete fixers which are designed to do the job.
Yeah.
And it will physically hold the window or door to the brickwork.
I know a builder in my own family who, maybe I should have revealed that, but he had beautiful windows, and he didn't put one fixing in, he put it in and just foamed them up and trimmed them, that was it.
Oh dear.
Yeah, anyway. Mike, what one thing you wished homeowners knew about windows and doors?
Well, we've touched on it to death, really, that they can be repaired rather than putting it off, thinking you've got to have a whole new window because you need a new handle, you need a new hinge, or you got a misted sealed unit or Lorraine. Them things can be changed.
Do you find customers are surprised that they can repair a not window? They always at this concept that need to replace a window.
Absolutely, a lot are, and pleasantly surprised as well.
Yeah,
that it's going to cost a fraction of the cost of replacing the whole thing when only a part needs to be changed.
Regarding customers, how different have you found them from your sales to your customers now?
Oh, this warms my heart. I am very, very fortunate. I know it sounds cheesy, but my customers are lovely. They really, really are. My ideal customer is, I'm going to paraphrase here, Mrs. Miggins from Acacia Avenue, a homeowner who can appreciate what has happened, what I've done, and, the before and after. And, I'm really, really fortunate with my customer base.
It may be a reflection of you. Because what I've found is that if you're nice to them and good service, they reflect that back to you.
I like to think so, but that's not for me to say. That's for others to say. Yeah. I think that there's a phrase in there that
I'm going to say
if you're happy with my service, tell others. If you're not happy, tell me. Fortunately, I don't get a lot of that back. The second part back. So, yeah, I'll try very hard.
That's good to hear. Thanks for joining us. If listeners want advice or get in touch about windows and doors, how can I reach you?
Yeah, there's plenty of mediums that are available. I lose track of them sometimes. WhatsApp, phone calls, text, email, Facebook Messenger. All these mediums are used by customers to get in contact with me.
So we can find you on Facebook?
Yes.
Essex Window Service.
Essex Window Service, that's absolutely right. That's
a wrap for the episode of Ask the Surveyor. A big thanks to Mike Kent from Essex Window Service for sharing his expert insights. I thought it was brilliant. Whether it's misted panes, drafty seals, or knowing when it's time to replace them ageing frames, hope you picked up some practical tips for your home. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone you might find it helpful, especially if they're buying, selling, or just want to keep their property in top condition.